The stars stretched endlessly across the dark sky, a sea of tiny lights shining far beyond what any human eye could see. Deep in space, the starship Endeavour glided quietly through the void, carrying the hopes and dreams of humanity. For decades, humans had looked up at the stars and wondered what was out there. Now they were no longer just watching, they were stepping out into the galaxy. Captain Asha Patel stood on the bridge of the Endeavour, her eyes fixed on the holographic display in front of her. It showed a map of their current location, a region of space near the Valar Dominion's territory. The Valar were one of the most powerful alien coalitions in this part of the galaxy. Their technology was advanced, their fleets vast. Most species gave them a wide berth, but humans were different. "We are approaching the outer boundary of the Valar Dominion," said Lieutenant Chen, the ship's navigator. His voice was calm but firm. "Our sensors are picking up multiple Valar warships ahead. They have detected us." Asha nodded slowly. "Open a channel. Let them know who we are." The room held its breath as the ship's communications officer transmitted their message. "This is the United Earth Exploration Fleet, Starship Endeavour. We come in peace, seeking to explore and learn from the stars. We ask for safe passage through your territory." The bridge went silent. Seconds passed like minutes. Suddenly, the holographic display flickered and a new image appeared. A tall, blue-skinned Valar officer with sharp eyes and a stern expression. His voice was cold and clear. "Humans, you have entered the space claimed by the Valar Dominion. You have no permission to be here. Leave immediately or face consequences." Asha stared at the screen. "We have the right to explore. We mean no harm. We ask again. Allow us passage." The Valar officer's eyes narrowed. "The warning is clear. Turn back." Behind Asha, the crew exchanged nervous glances. The Valar were known for their strict rules and harsh punishments. Yet the humans had never been ones to back down easily. Asha took a deep breath. "Prepare the ship for possible defense. Keep scanners active, but continue forward. We will not retreat." The Endeavour moved steadily onward, crossing the invisible line into Valar space. The stars outside seemed colder now, as if warning them to turn back. But humanity had always been drawn to the unknown. Back on Earth, millions watched live broadcasts from the ship. Families, scientists, leaders, all united in curiosity and hope. Humanity was finally stepping into a larger universe. The Valar Dominion was not used to being challenged. Their fleets had crushed rebellions and pushed smaller species into submission for centuries. When the humans refused to leave, the Valar fleet commander, Admiral Raxin, convened a council on their massive command ship. "They ignore our warnings," Raxin said, his voice filled with both irritation and disbelief. "Who are these humans to enter our space uninvited?" Council members debated. Some argued for immediate attack. Others suggested waiting to gather more information. The consensus was clear. The humans must be shown the price of disobedience. Raxin issued orders. "Prepare a warning strike. Target their outer communication arrays. Make it clear this is not a game." Meanwhile, aboard the Endeavour, the crew worked hard to maintain calm. "We have detected Valar ships moving into attack formation," reported Chen. "They are targeting our communication systems." Asha's hands tightened on the console. "All hands, brace for impact. Activate shields." Suddenly, a sharp pulse rocked the ship. Alarms blared. The crew scrambled to their stations. The Valar's strike had begun. The Endeavour's shields flickered but held steady. Engineers rerouted power to reinforce defenses. The humans responded with quick thinking, deploying electronic countermeasures to confuse the Valar targeting systems. As the attack slowed, Asha spoke calmly. "Report damage." Lieutenant Kim, the chief engineer, answered. "Minor damage to the communication arrays, but we're still operational." "We've made our point," Chen added. "They're pulling back for now." That night, as the stars twinkled beyond the ship's windows, Asha stood alone on the observation deck. The vastness of space stretched endlessly, beautiful yet unforgiving. She thought about Earth, blue and green, full of life and struggle. The humans had survived wars, disasters, and countless challenges. Now they faced a new test, proving they belonged among the stars. A soft voice came over the intercom. "Captain Patel, you are requested on the bridge." Asha nodded and left the deck. When she returned to the bridge, the communications officer was waiting. We have received a new message from the Valar Dominion. The screen flickered and the Valar officer appeared once more. This is your final warning, humans, he said. Leave now or we will take stronger action. You do not understand what you have challenged. Asha met his gaze steadily. We understand perfectly. We will continue our mission. We hope one day we can meet as friends, not enemies. The Valar officer's expression hardened before the screen went dark. The days that followed were tense. The Endeavor continued its exploration within Valar space, mapping planets and scanning for resources. Every move was watched closely by Valar patrols. Yet, humanity's spirit remained unbroken, on board. Scientists shared discoveries, engineers improved technology, and the crew bonded over their shared mission. One evening, Lieutenant Chen approached Asha. Captain, the Valar may underestimate us, he said thoughtfully. They see us as weak because we are new, but they don't know what humans can do when pushed. Asha smiled. That's why we keep going, because we have to prove them wrong. Far across the galaxy, other alien species observed the unfolding events. Some whispered warnings about humanity's recklessness. Others watched with curiosity. The universe was vast and full of mysteries, but humanity had announced its arrival. No one could ignore them anymore. And somewhere deep inside every human aboard the Endeavor, there burned a fierce truth. The universe may warn them to stay quiet, but humanity would never be silent. They were explorers, fighters, dreamers, and above all, survivors. The days following the tense arrival of the Endeavor in Valar space were filled with uncertainty. The humans on board worked hard to keep their mission moving forward, but the tension was like a heavy cloud over the ship. Every blip on the radar, every shadow among the stars could mean danger. Captain Asha Patel stood at the front of the bridge, watching the calm starfield. But she knew calm was just an illusion. The Valar Dominion's warnings had been clear. Leave or suffer consequences. The humans had chosen to stay. Deep within Valar space, the Dominion's leaders gathered in their dark metal council chamber. The mood was grim. Admiral Raxin paced before the council table, his face tight with anger. The humans ignore our warnings. They are reckless, and their presence here threatens our control. We cannot let them continue unchecked. A younger council member, known as Selene, spoke quietly. Perhaps they do not understand our warnings. Maybe we can try negotiation again. Raxin shook his head. They have already refused our offers. Words are no longer enough. We must act. The council agreed to a plan, a swift, decisive strike meant to damage the humans without destroying them. The goal was to frighten the humans into leaving, not to start a war. Back on the Endeavor, the crew was busy with routine tasks when the alarms suddenly screamed through the ship. The red lights flashed urgently, casting long shadows on the walls. Captain, to the bridge! Asha's voice cut through the chaos as she rushed in, her eyes sharp with focus. Lieutenant Chen was already at his console, eyes wide. Multiple Valar ships approaching fast. They're targeting our outpost on Arcus IV. Arcus IV? Asha's brow furrowed. Arcus IV was a small moon, where a human research station had been set up just days before. It was a quiet place, perfect for studying the nearby star system, but not strong enough to defend itself against a fleet. Can we warn them? Asha asked. Chen shook his head. Communications are disrupted. The Valar ships are jamming our signals. Asha's jaw tightened. We have to protect our people. Prepare the Endeavor to move to Arcus IV immediately. Shields up, weapons ready. The Endeavor leapt through space with speed and precision, the crew working seamlessly as they moved into position. Asha's heart pounded, not from fear but from the determination to protect those under their care. When they arrived near Arcus IV, the scene was grim. Valar ships hovered like dark shadows over the small moon. The human outpost was under heavy attack. Deploy defensive drones and support vessels, Asha ordered. We can't let them destroy the outpost. The human drones swarmed out into space, smaller but faster and more flexible than the large Valar warships. The battle began. The Valar fleet had advanced weapons and shields, but the humans fought with heart and clever tactics. Engineers on the Endeavor worked quickly to create new tools from old ones, and pilots flew in daring patterns to confuse the enemy. Lieutenant Kim, the chief engineer, shouted over the comms, "We're launching an electromagnetic pulse device to disrupt their targeting systems." "Do it," Asha commanded. A bright wave of energy burst from the Endeavor, spreading out and causing the Valar's weapon systems to falter. A few of their ships drifted off course, confused. The humans seized the chance. The drone fleet attacked from unexpected angles, hitting weak spots in the Valar ship's armor. On the surface of Arrakis 4, the research team watched the battle from the safety of their underground shelters. Dr. Elena Morrison, the lead scientist, clutched a data tablet in her hands. "They're holding their own," she said softly. "The humans never give up." Back in orbit, the Valar commander of the fleet gritted his teeth. "This is unexpected. The humans fight with a strength we did not predict. Withdraw and regroup." Slowly, the Valar ships pulled back, their once confident attack turning into a careful retreat. The Endeavor's crew let out a collective sigh of relief as the immediate danger passed. The human outpost on Arrakis 4 had suffered damage, but it was still standing. Asha looked around at her tired but determined crew. "We did well today, but this is only the beginning." Lieutenant Chen nodded. "The Valar will not forget this. They will come back stronger. Then we will be ready," Asha replied firmly. That night, as the Endeavor drifted quietly near Arrakis 4, Asha held a meeting with her senior officers. "We faced a test today," she began. "The Valar expected us to back down. Instead, we showed them that humanity will not be pushed aside." Lieutenant Kim spoke up. "Our technology is good, but it's our people, their creativity and courage that made the difference. We need to prepare for what comes next," said Chen. "The Valar won't stop after one attack." Asha nodded thoughtfully. "We will need to use every skill we have and find allies if we can." Meanwhile, news of the battle spread quickly back on Earth and among other spacefaring species. Humans were being watched closely, some with fear, others with respect. Ambassador Kiran Tal, a member of the nearby Sari Federation, sat in a council chamber discussing the situation. "The humans are unpredictable," she warned her colleagues. "They may seem inexperienced, but their determination is unlike anything we have seen." One elder diplomat replied, "Perhaps it is time to reconsider how we view humanity. They may not be a threat we can ignore." On the Endeavor, life went on, but the crew felt a new sense of purpose. The first strike had tested them and shown the universe something important. Humans fight not just to survive, but to protect what they believe in. Captain Patel stood again on the observation deck looking out at the stars. The battle had cost them, but it had also proven that humanity was a force to be reckoned with. She whispered to herself. The universe warned them, but they ignored it, and humanity would continue to push forward no matter the cost. The battle near Arrakis 4 had left its mark on both sides. The Valar Dominion was surprised by the humans' fierce defense, and the Endeavor's crew was reminded of just how dangerous their mission had become. But rather than fear, the humans felt a growing determination to push forward. Captain Asha Patel paced on the bridge, studying the data streaming in from their latest scans. The Valar patrols were more active than ever, but the humans refused to be trapped or intimidated. Humanity's strength was not only in weapons or shields, it was in their creativity and ability to adapt. Lieutenant Chen approached with a thoughtful look. "Captain, the Valar technology is advanced, but we've found patterns in their tactics. They rely heavily on predictable formations and communication signals." Asha's eyes brightened. "That means there's a weakness we can exploit." "What do you suggest?" Chen smiled. "We use our creativity. We can build decoys, fake signals, and even trick their scanners. We don't have their numbers or raw firepower, but we have the element of surprise." In the ship's engineering bay, Lieutenant Kim and her team were already hard at work. Old equipment was being repurposed, devices modified, and new inventions crafted from scraps and spare parts. "Imagine this," Kim said excitedly to her team. "A drone that mimics our ship's signatures, fooling the Valar into thinking it's a large fleet. They waste energy attacking illusions while our real ships move undetected." The engineers worked late into the night, fueled by coffee and determination. The Endeavor was no longer just a ship. It was becoming a symbol of human ingenuity. Not far from the front lines, the small human outpost on Arrakis 4 was busy rebuilding. Dr. Elena Morrison oversaw the repairs and scientific work, her mind always racing with ideas. "We can't just defend," Elena said during a video call with Captain Patel. "We have to understand the Valar better, their technology, their biology, even their culture. Knowledge is power." Asha nodded. "We're working on that. We've also been sending messages to other species nearby, Some have quietly shown interest in our situation. One such species was the Yoran, a peaceful race known for their knowledge of star systems and diplomacy. Ambassador Kieran and Tal had reached out to them, hoping to find allies who might help balance the growing threat from the Valar. The Yoran Council listened carefully. The humans are brave, their leader said. They face a great danger with courage. We will share what we know and help where we can. Back on the Endeavor, the crew prepared for their next move. Asha gathered her officers in the command room. Our next mission is to map the Valar supply routes, she explained. If we can disrupt their logistics, we weaken their ability to attack us. Lieutenant Chen, you will lead a scouting team using the new decoy drones. Chen saluted. We won't let you down. As the meeting ended, Asha stayed behind thinking about the road ahead. The universe had warned the Valar not to provoke humanity. Now humanity was proving why. The scouting mission was risky. Chen and his team piloted small, fast ships equipped with the new decoys, slipping through space with silent precision. The Valar forces scanned endlessly, their eyes sharp, but the human tricks confused them. The decoy drones spread out, making the Valar believe a large fleet was moving through their territory. Valar ships scrambled to intercept, wasting time and resources. Meanwhile, the real human ships moved closer to key supply stations. On one shadowy planet, a Valar supply base hummed with activity. Cargo ships filled with fuel and weapons prepared to head to the front lines. Chen's team waited quietly in nearby space. With the decoys drawing attention away, the humans launched a surprise attack. The small fleet targeted critical power generators, disabling the base without a full battle. Damage report, Chen called back to the Endeavor. Generators offline. Supply routes disrupted, Kim replied. Good work. The Valar were furious. Their control was slipping. Back on the Endeavor, the crew celebrated the victory quietly. It was a small step, but a significant one. Elena's voice came over the comms. Captain, we've analyzed Valar communication patterns. There's a weakness in their encryption that we can exploit for future missions. Asha smiled. Keep at it, Doctor. Every advantage counts. As the days passed, stories of human courage and cleverness spread across the galaxy. Other species began to see that humans were not simply another race to conquer or dismiss. They were fighters, survivors, thinkers, a challenge unlike any other. One evening, Asha walked the ship's corridors greeting her crew. She stopped by the recreation room where a group of engineers were discussing their latest invention. We're building a new kind of shield, Kim said proudly, one that adapts to different types of energy attacks. Asha nodded approvingly. Keep pushing. Humanity's future depends on what you create. But not all reactions were friendly. The Valar Dominion's leaders grew more anxious. Admiral Raxon's frustration was clear. These humans are not just stubborn. They are clever and unpredictable. Their small victories inspire others to question our power. Celine, the younger council member, spoke calmly. Perhaps it is time to consider a different approach. War is costly and the humans may become too strong. Raxon glared. We will not show weakness. Prepare for the next phase. They will learn the true cost of defiance. Yet even in the face of growing danger, humanity's spirit burned bright. On Earth, people followed the news with hope. Children dreamed of stars, scientists raced to understand new discoveries, and leaders worked to support the explorers. Captain Patel believed in her crew and in humanity's potential. Standing on the observation deck, she whispered to the endless sky, "We may be small in the universe, but we are mighty in spirit." The universe had warned the Valar Dominion, never provoke humanity. And with every passing day, the humans proved why that warning could not be ignored. The space around the Endeavor was alive with tension. The Valar Dominion, once confident in their control of this part of the galaxy, now found themselves facing a human fleet that was growing stronger, smarter, and more daring by the day. The recent disruption of their supply lines had shaken the Valar's confidence, and cracks began to show in their unity. Captain Asha Patel stood on the bridge, watching the starfield as the ship moved toward a key Valar stronghold, the Luron system. This system was vital for the Dominion. It housed important shipyards, weapon factories, and a massive fleet command center. We have an opportunity here, Asha told her officers during a strategy meeting. If we can strike at Luron, we could force the Valar to rethink their entire campaign. Lieutenant Chen nodded. Their defenses will be strong, but our new technology and tactics might give us an edge. We can't afford to fail, said Lieutenant Kim. We've learned a lot, but the Valar will expect us to attack. Meanwhile, aboard the Valar command ship Dreadspire, Admiral Raxon paced impatiently. The recent setbacks had made him more determined than ever. "We must crush the humans at Luron," he said fiercely. "Show them that their defiance will end here." But not all in the council agreed. Celine, the younger member who had urged caution before, spoke calmly. "Admiral, we risk too much. The humans are clever and gaining allies. If we lose Luron, our power will weaken." Raxon's eyes narrowed. "Then it is a risk we must take." Back on the Endeavor, preparations for the assault were underway. Engineers adjusted the ship's shields and weapons, while pilots trained for precise maneuvers. The crew knew this battle could change everything. On the day of the attack, the human fleet approached the Luron system under cover of darkness. Using decoy drones and electronic warfare, they slipped past many of the Valar's outer defenses. Asha gave the order. "Initiate the plan." The fleet moved swiftly. The drones created false signals, confusing Valar sensors and drawing ships away. Meanwhile, the main force targeted key points on the shipyards and command centers. The Valar fleet scrambled to respond. The Dreadspire sent fighters and warships to intercept, but the humans fought with skill and determination. Pilots like Lieutenant Rao performed daring maneuvers, weaving between enemy fire and striking vulnerable targets. The battle was fierce and chaotic. Explosions lit the darkness of space as ships clashed. The Endeavor's crew worked tirelessly, repairing damage and coordinating attacks. During a critical moment, Lieutenant Kim activated a new shield technology that absorbed the energy of incoming Valar blasts and redirected it, allowing human ships to push forward without breaking formation. On the Dreadspire, Admiral Raxon watched the battle unfold with growing anger. The humans were tougher than he imagined. "This is not over," he snarled. "Call in reinforcements." But it was too late. The human fleet had already dealt a heavy blow to the Luron shipyards, crippling the Dominion's ability to build new warships quickly. After hours of fighting, the Valar forces began to retreat, their command center damaged and their ships scattered. The humans had won a decisive victory. Back on the Endeavor, the crew celebrated quietly. Captain Patel addressed them. "Today, we showed that humanity can stand against the greatest powers in the galaxy. But this victory is only the beginning. We must remain vigilant and continue to learn and grow." News of the battle spread quickly. Across the galaxy, other species watched as the Valar Dominion's grip weakened. Some began to openly question the Dominion's rule, inspired by the humans' success. Even some within the Valar ranks started to doubt their leaders. Selin approached Admiral Raxon privately. "Admiral, it is time to consider peace. The humans are not our enemies, they are a sign of change." Raxon's face darkened. "You are naive. The only way is through strength." Meanwhile, the humans were already planning their next steps. Ambassador Kira and Tal met with Asha to discuss diplomacy. "The galaxy is watching," Kira said. "Your victory gives you a voice. It's time to build alliances, not just fight battles." Asha nodded thoughtfully. "We will defend ourselves, but we want peace. We want a future where humanity and others can explore the stars together." As the Endeavor prepared to leave the Luron system, Captain Patel looked out at the stars. The battle had changed the course of history. The Valar Dominion was no longer untouchable. Humanity was no longer the newcomer to fear. The universe had warned the Valar, never provoke humanity. They had ignored the warning, and now the humans were ready to shape their own destiny among the stars. The battle at Luron had changed everything. The Valar Dominion's grip on the galaxy was loosening, and the humans aboard the Endeavor felt the weight of a new responsibility. They were no longer just explorers. They were defenders, diplomats, and pioneers of a new future. Captain Asha Patel stood on the observation deck, gazing at the stars stretching endlessly before her. The victory was sweet but fragile. She knew that the path ahead would be difficult, filled with challenges and hard choices. "Captain, we are receiving a message from the Sari Federation," Lieutenant Chen reported. Breaking her thoughts, Asha turned to the screen as Ambassador Kira and Tal appeared, her expression calm and hopeful. "We have watched your courage and strength," Kira said. "The Federation wishes to join forces with humanity. Together we can build a new alliance based on trust and respect." Asha smiled. "This is the beginning of something greater. We accept your offer." Across the galaxy, news of the human-Valar conflict and humanity's unexpected victories spread quickly. Many species began to reconsider old alliances and old enemies. The Valar Dominion, once the most feared power, was now viewed with uncertainty and suspicion. Within the Dominion, tension grew between hardliners like Admiral Raxon, who wanted to continue fighting, and moderates like Selen, who saw the value in peace. On the Endeavor, the crew prepared for their next mission, to visit the Sari homeworld and meet with their leaders. The goal was clear, not only to strengthen alliances but to show that humanity was ready to take its place in the wider galactic community. The journey was long, but the mood was hopeful. Scientists, diplomats, and soldiers worked side by side, united by a common purpose. During the trip, Dr. Elena Morrison shared her latest research with the crew. We've discovered new ways to communicate across vast distances, even through the toughest cosmic interference, she explained. This technology will help us stay connected with our allies in coordinate defense. Asha nodded. Every step forward makes us stronger. When the Endeavor arrived at the Sari homeworld, it was greeted with a warm welcome. The Sari leaders were impressed by humanity's resilience and willingness to learn. In the Grand Council chamber, Asha and Kira stood before representatives from many species. We have faced great danger together, Asha said, but this is only the beginning. We must build a future where no one fears the other, where strength is used not for war, but for protection and peace. The room erupted in applause. Back in Valar space, the divide grew sharper. Admiral Raxon launched a surprise attack against a human convoy, hoping to regain control through force. But the humans, supported by their new allies, were ready. The battle was fierce, but the combined fleets pushed the Valar attackers back. It was a clear sign that the balance of power was shifting. Raxion realized that the time for endless war was ending. In a final desperate move, he agreed to meet with Selene and representatives of the new alliance to discuss peace. The peace talks were tense but hopeful. For the first time in generations, the Valar Dominion faced the possibility of change, not through conquest, but through understanding. Captain Patel and Ambassador Kira stood together at the negotiation table, representing a future built on cooperation. After days of discussion, an agreement was reached. The Valar would respect human and allied territories, cease aggressive actions, and work toward a shared future. As the news of peace spread, celebrations erupted on the Endeavor and across allied worlds. Humanity had not only survived, but had helped change the galaxy's course. Captain Patel addressed her crew. We fought to protect our home, but we also fought for hope, for a universe where we can all live and grow together. Years passed, and the alliances formed in those dark days grew stronger. Humanity became known not only for its courage, but for its compassion and creativity. New colonies were established. Scientific discoveries flourished, and old enemies became friends. Captain Asha Patel retired as a hero, but her legacy lived on in the generations that followed, people who believed in the strength of humanity and the power of unity. The universe had warned the Valar Dominion, never provoke humanity. They had ignored the warning, but humanity had risen, stronger, wiser, and ready to shape a future where the stars belonged to everyone.